We're Keka and Manil, and we're traveling around the world. Follow us. On this route, we go from medieval streets over 500 years old to one of the most elegant cities in France. But the real shock comes at the end of the video, because the last thing we find on this route doesn't look like Europe. We're seeing many Brittany flags that are very curious, very similar to the United States one. It's called the Heymondo in the Breton language. It has white and black stripes. It's very similar to the American one, which has red and white stripes. Here, they're black and white. And in the corner, instead of having stars, it has ermines. The ermine is a small mammal, part of the weasel family. It's important in Brittany because it was the symbol of the Duchy of Brittany. It represents purity, honor, and loyalty. It was the emblem of the Breton nobility and its dukes. That's why it's on their flag, the Heymondo. Let me tell you a little bit about the very important history of Brittany. Brittany is Celtic, like Ireland, Scotland, Wales, or Cornwall. Its origin, therefore, is not Gallic. They're more linked, therefore, to Great Britain than to France itself. Between the 5th and 6th centuries, the Celtic peoples of Great Britain migrated here, fleeing Anglo-Saxon invasions. That's why it's called Brittany, Breton, Little Britain. Brittany is more culturally related to the British Isles than to Paris. Breton is a Celtic language, not Latin, and it's what's still spoken here today. In fact, every year the number of Breton speakers grows. It's related to Welsh and Cornish, not to French. For centuries, moreover, it was the language of the people. The only one. France, on the other hand, since the 19th century, has actively persecuted regional languages. Speak French. In schools, speaking Breton was punished. For centuries, Brittany was an independent duchy, the Duchy of Brittany. It had its own laws, currency, army, diplomatic relations. It wasn't a region, it was a state. It's in 1532 that Brittany joins France by treaty, not by direct conquest. Autonomy, respect for customs, and tax privileges are promised. Over time, France fails to comply and centralizes everything from Paris. Today, it's not a majority independence movement, but there is a very strong cultural identity, local pride, and rejection of French centralism. That's why you see many Breton flags, the language on signs, and very lively traditions. And because of all that, today you see so many Breton flags hanging. It's not independence seeking, it's not provocation. It's just that for them, feeling Breton is something deep within them. That's a very respectable feeling. Well, we're already in Rennes, the historical capital of Brittany. In Roman times, it was called Condate. The city grew around the Vilaine River. The canal was used for transport and water control. Rennes currently doesn't live off tourism. It's an administrative and university city and has one of the youngest populations in France. The center mixes medieval city and 18th century reconstruction. Here begins inland Brittany, not the coast. Walking through Rennes, that's how it's written, that's how I pronounce it. I don't know how it's pronounced. And we've been really lucky because we arrived at 12 noon. Coincidentally, the parking meters from 12 to 4 are free. From 12 to 2, from 12 to 10. Yeah, we have 2 hours to walk around from 12 to 2. Oh, okay, 14, I understood 4. We have 2 little hours to visit the center a bit for free, and then, well, if you want, a little coin, and it lasts a bit longer. So anyway, let's enjoy the walk. It's very cold here today, unlike the coast where we came from being at 11 degrees and very nice. This morning it was 7, now it'll be a bit more, but the cold wind. And the difference is noticeable. It's noticeable. I'm back in the cold. And the canal is cool. It reminded me of Amsterdam. Just as dirty, too. We're approaching Rue de Chabot. This is one of the best preserved medieval streets in Rennes. Most of the houses are half-timbered from the 15th to the 16th centuries. Many facades are tilted due to old techniques and the weight of the floors. Artisans and merchants lived here, not nobles. After the fire of 1720, this area was saved and was not rebuilt in stone. That's why it contrasts so much with other straighter parts of the city. It's one of the best places to understand medieval Rennes. Look at how crooked this balcony is. Impressive that it's still standing. Well, actually, it's leaning in every direction. It's forward to one side. Incredible that they're still standing, huh? I'm super surprised. From this perspective, look how it's leaning forward. After the fire of 1720, this whole part of downtown Rennes, the medieval center, was affected by the fire, and almost all the half-timbered houses burned down. However, they were rebuilt in stone. They are shorter houses, and they already complied with fire safety regulations. On this street, Rue de Chabot, which is the historic and most beautiful center, let's say, of Rennes, you can see both houses, the stone ones and the half-timbered ones. By the way, it's a very beautiful street, although there are many abandoned houses. The Palace of Rennes was built between the 17th and 18th centuries. Here, Brittany's own laws were defended. In the year 1994, it suffered a major fire due to a protest that took place at its doors. Today, it functions as a court, not as a parliament. We continue walking through Rennes, and one of the curiosities we found worth mentioning is that all the streets appear in French and in Breton. Keep in mind that the roots of both languages are totally different. Therefore, you can see that Rue Nationale, for example, in Italian, Rue Nationale has nothing to do with straight brothel. The lean it has is incredible. All the wooden houses support the concrete house. What you see on this facade is a niche, a small hole in the wall where religious images were placed. In cities like Rennes, they were very common in the Middle Ages and served to protect the house, show devotion, and recall the presence of faith in daily life. Many of those images were of saints or the Virgin Mary, and what they implied was that it was the home of someone who was a believer. What a shame that, as we were mentioning a moment ago, all these houses, half-timbered houses, which today are heritage of many of the cities, both in Brittany and in Normandy where we were, are totally abandoned. We've been to other cities in the country where these houses had all been restored, and it was a draw for tourists. It was like a call for tourists to visit. However, here, as we keep walking, here we have the flag of Brittany. And as we keep walking, they're clearing out a few specific bars. Like here on the left and here on the right, they're all totally abandoned. You have to keep in mind that these constructions are cheap. The wood rots, so these houses, if abandoned and without frequent restoration, could collapse. This was the great medieval entrance to Rennes. It was built between the 14th and 15th centuries as part of the city's defensive walls. It had towers, a drawbridge, and a portcullis, a full-blown fortress. The Dukes of Brittany entered through here, and upon crossing it, they swore to respect the liberties of the Breton people. Today, it remains one of the most important historical symbols of the city. I think the people from that era were exactly my size because the entrance door is a perfect fit for me. Well, Rennes is a large city. It's one of the main cities of French Brittany, but it's true that the historic center is tiny, and you can walk through it in 3 or 4 hours perfectly. The canal is very charming, it's very beautiful, and we do recommend a visit. We had to do it a bit express because we're running out of time, but we do recommend. A 3 or 4 hour visit to see Rennes, I really think it's worth it. Yeah, you can spend the day peacefully and eat and relax if you come with time, and it's worth it. Lots of little terraces in the center where if the weather's good like today, you can sit down to have a little coffee, a crepe, or a galette, which is typical here. It's savory. That's the only difference between the crepe, which is sweet, and the galette, which is savory, and it's very typical of Brittany. And enjoy a little stroll through the center. Very beautiful and lots of history. Moving on. Although Rennes doesn't usually appear among the most touristy cities in France, it's receiving more and more visitors attracted by its mix of medieval history and university atmosphere. And there's something that defines this city very well: the rain. The climate here changes constantly, and the Bretons say that in Rennes you can experience all 4 seasons in a single day. Even so, maybe precisely because of that, the city has that very authentic and different atmosphere that makes Brittany feel distinct from the rest of France. But we leave Brittany behind and continue our route south until we reach Bordeaux. And the change is noticeable right away. We go from medieval streets and a Breton atmosphere to an elegant, monumental city crossed by the Garonne River. Bordeaux has one of the best preserved historic centers in all of Europe. More than 350 protected buildings and architecture so spectacular that many know it as the Little Paris of southern France. Did you know that the color is named after the city? Yes, Bordeaux, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, although many people don't know it. Almost the entire city is. Let's go discover it. There's something that came from here and for centuries made half of Europe rich. Yes, indeed, the wine, Bordeaux wine. And the fact is, there are more vines around Bordeaux than in all of Germany. It had one of the richest commercial ports in Europe, so without being a capital, it was a very important city. Bordeaux was English for 3 centuries, and in fact, it was those in England who consumed the most wine. Bordeaux is a super elegant city, and it was built to demonstrate power and elegance. A World Heritage Site in almost its entirety, and unlike other major European cities, is one of the few that's never been bombed and has remained intact. Bordeaux is elegant. It's beautiful. In fact, even before Paris was important, Bordeaux was already rich. It was important. In fact, the whole city was built thanks to its port and the wealth that trading wine brought in. We are in front of the Grand Theatre de Bordeaux, one of the city's most emblematic buildings. And although today we associate it with opera and culture, it was actually born as a show of power and wealth during Bordeaux's golden age. It was inaugurated in 1780, and at the time it was one of the most modern theaters in all Europe. Its facade, inspired by classical temples, is crowned by 12 columns and 12 statues representing divinities and muses of antiquity. But this place was not intended for the common people. The city's elite came here to be seen, do business, and show off social status, because in those days, opera was also power. You see it from a distance, it looks completely 3D, but let's film it up close so you can see. I'm going to read the sign at the base for you. Sana, as it's called, belongs to a series of 7 female figures imagined after the premeditated encounter between the artist and the city. Although only 2 of them could be cast and exhibited in Bordeaux, these figures represent a new path of reflection and artistic experimentation. Very curious. This is the Bordelais Gallery, an elegant shopping arcade that first opened back in 1834. Its massive glass roof allowed people to stroll and shop indoors nearly 2 centuries ago, when Bordeaux was one of France's wealthiest cities, thanks to trade and wine. And that economic power was actually directly connected to the Garonne River. We're now in front of the Porte Cahiel, an ancient gateway to the city built at the end of the 15th century. Merchants, goods, and barrels of wine arriving from the port used to pass through here. Though it looks medieval, it also marks the arrival of the Renaissance in Bordeaux and was built to celebrate a French military victory. More than just a defensive gate, it was a way to impress anyone entering the city. A woman who changed Europe was married here, Eleanor of Aquitaine, Queen of France, and later of England as well. As you can see, the bell tower is separate from the cathedral. It was built that way for fear of collapse. The tower was built later to watch over the city and project power. Thousands of pilgrims passed through here, as it was a key stop on the Way of St. James. This cathedral survived wars and revolutions because it represented the city, not a king. As you can see, we had a strange day. It starts raining really hard, and then suddenly the sun comes out. But we're enjoying a city full of life. Lots of bikes, many people walking, very beautiful and very clean. It's true, we've seen many people with mental health or addiction issues living on the streets, but that doesn't change the fact that it's a beautiful, walkable, flat city. Lots of public services, metro, train, bus, and a spectacularly beautiful cathedral. Although we ran out of time and couldn't explore it properly because the market was already closed, we did want to show you the Capuchin Market, one of the city's most authentic spots. This market has existed for centuries and remains the city's great culinary meeting point. Locals and chefs come here to buy oysters, cheeses, seafood, wine, and typical products from southwestern France. In fact, many know it as the belly of Bordeaux. And we continue exploring Bordeaux until we reach Victory Square, one of the liveliest spots in the entire city. Today, it's full of students, terraces, and nightlife, but for centuries, it was one of the main entrances to Bordeaux. Here, the historical past and modern life blend in a city that has known how to reinvent itself without losing its identity. Something that really caught our attention about Bordeaux is that, despite its world fame, it remains a fairly comfortable city to walk and enjoy without rushing. It has over 120 kilometers of bike lanes, one of the largest urban areas protected by UNESCO, and a huge historic center where you're constantly finding squares, churches, markets, and historic buildings almost without looking for them. And then there's the atmosphere, because beyond the monuments, Bordeaux has that mix of an elegant city and a lively city. Crowded cafes, terraces at any time, historic shopping galleries, street musicians, and avenues like this one, Rue St. Catherine, considered one of the pedestrian shopping streets. longest in Europe, with over a kilometer of shops, restaurants, and constant movement from morning until night. But it's time to say goodbye to Bordeaux and continue on our way, because we still have to discover one of the most impressive places in this whole area, the Dune of Pilat. It's the highest sand dune in Europe, and we're warning you, the images coming up now look like they're from another continent. We're at the Dune of Pilat in southwestern France, and believe it or not, it's the highest dune in all of Europe. Let's go visit it. At the top, I don't know if you'll hear me very well, it promises to be very windy. And it's hard, because you keep sinking in, because it's obviously uphill. And if you come in winter, besides the fact that this can happen to you, sun, storm, we don't know what's going to happen when we get to the top, if the storm is coming or the sun is coming, but it's very windy at the peak. And if you come in winter, they recommend bringing a coat, even if it's sunny. And it's because, thanks to this wind, the dune grows every year by 1 to 5 meters. Yes, burying forests and ancient buildings. It's pretty tough, isn't it? Wow, between not being able to see and getting buried, and the beat in the sand is giving in. I think I'm gonna choose to at least tie up my hair. Even though it looks like a desert landscape, this is still France. The Dune of Pilat is the tallest sand dune in Europe, and every year it completely changes shape because of the wind and the tides. Right now it measures between 110 and 115 meters high, but its size is never exactly the same. The most impressive thing is that this mountain of sand is alive. The dune slowly advances inland several meters every year, gradually burying trees, roads, and even old buildings that it finds in its path. In fact, beneath all the sand, there are still remains of ancient forests and disappeared buildings. There are around 60 million cubic meters of accumulated sand here. And climbing it is no joke, as we're seeing, because the wind makes it so every step up feels like you're moving back half a meter. From below, it doesn't seem so huge, but when you're inside, you realize the true dimensions of this place. During the Second World War, the Nazis took advantage of this entire coast to build defensive bunkers within the Atlantic Wall. Many ended up being swallowed by the sand, and some still appear partially buried among the dunes. And the most surreal part comes at the very top. On one side, you have the Atlantic Ocean, and on the other, an immense pine forest that seems to never end. That mix between sea, forest, and desert is precisely what makes the Dune of Pilat unique. And who would have thought that this immense dune would be here? Where does all this sand come from? From the bottom of the Atlantic, brought here, of course, by the wind. It's 2.7 kilometers long, 500 meters wide, and the current dune we see is 4,000 years old. We continue our ascent as if we were climbing the very Everest.
It's even starting to hurt now, huh? It hurts. Well, yes, the strong waves cause marine sediments to come towards the coast. And as I was saying a moment ago, it's these winds that cause those sediments to come towards the dune. Also, the forest surrounding it, all these trees, they help the dune, making those sediments stay, let's say, right here. Although, well, the dune still grows every year, as I mentioned before. Also, the strong storms in the Bay of Biscay, they cause those storms, those eddies, to make the dune grow much faster. And, well, we've finally reached the very top. I'm not sure if you could hear me well with all this wind, but we'll leave you with these wonderful images from the very top, which is where it's truly impressive.
And that's it for our route through southwestern France, going from the medieval Brittany of Rennes to the elegance of Bordeaux and ending in one of Europe's most impressive landscapes. If you like this video, leave us a comment telling us which place surprised you the most. And subscribe to Two Out There in the World to keep traveling with us by road, discovering incredible places, and sharing facts that don't usually appear in travel guides.